Welcome to Create Before Consume. Now, here's your host, Fitz.
Yeah, and we got a guest today. Who are you? What do you do?
Austin Zelli. First of all, I hate natural light photographers. There's so many cheap, like, army moms. You know, He goes off to the army, the wife starts their business. There's a lot of people in this industry that don't have experience because it takes up what I do. There's a lot of natural light photographers. They don't know how to use flash. Their photos are dark. They're terrible. But I do lots of weddings.
I got you.
For me, I do lots of Indian weddings too. Sorry to interrupt you, but I do so many weddings. All my weekends are stuff during the weekends. I mostly work on YouTube stuff. I love clipping, and I'm working on building a clipping agency too.
Ooh, okay, coming in hot.
Yeah.
Obviously, we met over the internet as usual.
It's the first time.
It's not the first time that I did that. So I usually reach out to all the creatives that I kind of find on the internet. I'm like, oh, he's interesting, she's interesting, whatever. And I just reach out, you know? And you're very interesting. And I was like, okay, I got to reach out and got to see what's going on. And like you said, you do a lot of weddings. And it's Indian
always
weddings.
Events. Yeah. Indian weddings are very interesting because there's so many names. And the food is spicy, so sometimes I have jokes back and forth about that. But American weddings, the brides are so crazy. Like, typical white American lady, they're going to have high expectations. They're very, like, touchy sometimes. But if we do American weddings, it's more high-end clients. Yeah. So we don't get into that, like, wedding hell. So many photographers go through that where they start doing weddings and it's low budget. They're starting to do them for free, which I disagree with.
Yeah, that is like one of the things. Like, a wedding for free is not a thing you should do, because like you
should at least get paid like $10 an hour or something like that.
That is the minimum. But imagine now you're messing up. It doesn't matter.
You should get paid for your labor at least. Like, come on, like just being there at your regular job, you would get paid like, you know, I only get paid $15 an hour. Get paid that at the wedding. Like, don't do anything for free. Not these days, for sure.
Yeah, no, also, like, weddings in general, it's like, if you mess up on a wedding, oh my God, you're in a... It is not a thing where you can mess up, because like let's say you don't record the audio or something goes wrong. Yeah. You're done, and then you only got paid whatever you just said. You know, I'm like, you should never ever do that.
Yeah, you do it for free. You have to refund the whole thing, and that's there's a really good photographer who was like a British Navy photographer. They did all the photos for the British Navy. I was listening to on a podcast. He says, unless you can guarantee what you're going to do, and you can guarantee that you have a camera where you're double shooting, like you have 2-card system, and you can guarantee that you're not going to mess anything up, until you're there, you should not be like, you know, doing these photos and weddings and stuff. And the market is just so saturated. But I feel like it's easy to get clients in comparison to these people who are startups, because when someone tags me in a like Facebook group, I send a video. I send a video through that Facebook group, and it's like me explaining like my offer and how I stand out from other people.
Gotcha. Yeah, so actually on that note, like, you do a lot of things, because usually I do like a little bit background check, and I found like, I think at least two YouTube channels.
How many crimes did I commit? Oh, YouTube channel. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just YouTube channels. I'm like, I found like 2 free YouTube channels. I think
3. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, okay, he's doing the YouTube thing, and that's what I'm like all about. Because
I see that in you, and I'm like super inspired by like your motivation, how many videos you got out, and how many different topics you cover.
I like what you're doing too.
Exactly. That's what I like. I noticed you, and I got obsessed with you when I was like, this guy does photogrammetry.
Yeah, that is a lot. It is not that easy. Yeah. So on that note, you mentioned like we maybe have more people coming.
Yes.
Elaborate that.
So I have a cinematographer coming who's like world famous. She works with the biggest brands. You saw her website. She worked with Snoop Dogg and stuff. But she's really great. She's trying to get more public speaking engagements and get more local gigs, because she flies to LA, where she's from, or New York, and it's just draining. You think traveling for work would be fun, but for me, it's such a drain, because like, if you're going to the same places like Boston and you're like, I've seen it before, I don't care. But like, I love traveling to DC and I have several things booked up. I have something booked up for Singapore and Japan.
Yeah, so that is another thing. Like, so first off, he is like, okay, I will show up with like 4 people, like one NFT guy, then like a Taiwanese girl, and what the other person was Chinese.
Yes. So Chinese, I was just Taiwanese. What? That's the thing is like when you're in these niche communities too, it's huge. Like I have Iranian friends, especially Asian community. There's a lot of tightness there. A lot of people know different community centers and stuff. Community centers are how I market. If the event venue loves me, I'm good. But we have Iranian people in our company. And so, like, I was at Buccaneer Bay, this silly water park up in Homosassa, and I was just swimming around, and there's this chick there. She's pretty good looking. I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. We were sort of, like, glancing at each other. And I'm like, you have an interesting accent. Are you from Iran? And she's like... yeah, I'm Irani. And then I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, you go to Boston University. You should meet my friend. And she's like, oh, wait, you also know Shaheen? And so we're both...
Very multicultural today.
We're both, like, speaking a little bit of Farsi back and forth to each other. And I'm like...
What? How many languages do you speak? Because I hear, like, you have an accent, but it's obviously not from Florida. So, and then you're obviously dating... thing.
No, I'm not dating anybody.
Oh, you're not dating anybody.
I'm single.
I was just terminating. Okay. Okay.
I know I bring a lot of chicks with me to events, but it's just because I know all the mottos, and they're just like, yeah, I want to come to a business podcast, of course.
Yeah, it's kind of business and kind of not. It's like more like creative, freelance, whatever floats our boats.
Yeah, you hit on the multicultural element too.
Yeah.
The thing is, people might relate to this. I grew up on the internet. I grew up on memes. I was homeschooled. I was a complete weirdo.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I was a complete weirdo, and like by the time I went to high school, still weird. In college, still weird. And I had to get good at it because I watched like Charisma on Command is my favorite YouTube channel, and getting good at social skills. Yes. Yeah. They're so good at sort of like, what's good to practice, like making other people feel better and be normal and like tricks to communicate better. And that's the essence of like what I do. I tell people to communicate clearly, and you see that in like YouTube, and how I interact with my staff and my customers. That's the biggest thing.
So on that note, like, it's kind of like a weird topic right now. Like in the US, like schools are kind of a hot topic, you know. There's a lot of bad stuff happening, and I'm just like, homeschooling seems like the answer. And I was like wondering, if I had kids or have kids, I would be like, I will not send them into a school where they're basically locked up in like, fenced in security guys screening you. And I'm like, I'm from Germany, so I obviously have an accent, yada. So I'm like, we don't have fences. We don't have like the metal detectors. We don't have any security. What? And I'm like, here, it's like a jail. I'm like, what is going on? And homeschooling seems now more reasonable because there's not an active shooter going like through the... I'm just like, well, so what are the ups and downs of homeschooling? Can you go... Would have missed or would you liked and stuff like that? Because I never really, I want to hear the scoop.
Yeah, I'm actually really knowledgeable, and I'm glad you asked. So I'm actually writing a book called Republic Schooling, so about how public schooling and homeschooling and private school, they're all inefficient in some level. There's something that you don't get from like all of those. And for me, homeschooling was terrible. Like, I hated homeschooling. So I was stuck at home. I was doing an online curriculum instead of my parents teaching me. My parents didn't teach me anything. I had, a mom that was sort of like overbearing, but not good at a lot of things. And my dad was just critical, and he was going through the depression and recession, and,
And here we are.
He owned trailer parks, and so... I grew up around that, and so I get molded by the area, less so because I don't want to be there. I don't like where I live, so I'm homeschooled. I'm raised on the internet. I'm raised on memes and stuff. So There
very
is that,
relatable for me.
Yeah.
Because like our generation is like where the internet came out, and
Yes.
I don't know, you had probably like ICQ, MSN, and what was it, the MSN Messenger?
AIM was my favorite.
Yeah, stuff like that, and I'm just like, yeah.
And now everybody's sort of like chronically online, but it's huge these days. Like so many people relate to that, and I feel like more at home because when I was homeschooled, it's like everybody goes to public school, everybody gets socialized. I feel so weird. I'm such an outcast when I go to talk to other people. My skills are not there, which is why I think like everybody can improve their social skills, considering I went from like really terrible and terrifying to the normal students who'd be like, this guy's like a creeper, crazy guy. And
I wouldn't say that because like from the internet,
I've gotten better.
Yeah. Are those the people?
Yeah, I think those are other people.
That are other people. So first off, other people are coming. Hopefully, did you give them a little introduction?
I told them to let themselves in, but is this the first time we have other people?
Walking in.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
Not too
and
shabby.
Yeah.
So feel free whatever you want.
Right.
We have sparkling
okay.
water. You can. The cups are freshly cleaned, and that is just water.
Right.
Okay.
There's a lot of different benefits to stuff. Homeschooling, you don't want to like be with your kids the whole time. Just spend an extra hour after the public school and tell them to go after good connections. Yeah. I think that can help, but I hate public schooling. I don't recommend it. There's a lot of fundamentalism that leads into like, I'm not going to keep my kids in public school. I'm going to indoctrinate them myself. And so there's a bad part in America, but I want to leave that topic alone to introduce.
So I'm Anne.
Hi, Anne. So what do you do?
I do vlogging for NFT and cryptocurrency.
Right.
Nice.
And actually Austin is part of it.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Is this
And we do social media. Okay.
You're okay.
Do I have to? Am I being recorded?
Yeah, right here. You see that?
Yeah, we can go over it again. I can cut that. It's all fine. So you do like a little bit of NFTs, social media, and vlogging. Yeah.
And cryptocurrency. So the theme is cryptocurrency and NFT related subjects.
Yeah. So with NFTs, I dabbled a little bit, but I'm like obviously not too experienced with NFT. So I have a little bit Bitcoin. I have a little bit like what was it, Ethereum, and I already forgot what else I have. Like I bought a bunch of stuff and then I'm like never touched it.
Of course.
What year did you buy them?
That's the important thing.
1 or 2 years ago. Like so, it's like just tiny amounts.
Okay,
So
1 or
it's
2
like-
years ago.
Yeah, I also was like mining some Bitcoin with my PC, and I have like solar panels, so I'm basically. Like,
You're mining.
Free money. Wow. There you
Yeah,
go.
so I was like doing a little bit. I'm like, I should make like a YouTube video about like mining Bitcoin, and I'm like, how cool would it be if you buy solar panels, run your PC over solar, and but obviously it doesn't
I like
make,
the video ideas too. What are you gonna do more about?
Yeah, that's a weird thing. I don't know. Like, so basically, I experimented a little bit with crypto, and it didn't turn out that well. So now I have like maybe like.
Right. I was right there
So
when
you're saying
it started, and I was like, I'm gonna mine and all this stuff. I was like right there when it started.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get all the PCs set up.
Yeah.
And so I was like, forget about it. And then I see it become popular later, and I'm like, well, I was there at the beginning, and I really missed the boat and seeing all these things go up and down. Because I remember when people were like, hey, volunteer your computing power to these organizations that are doing mathematical equations, and that became mining. So people would mine and lend out their computing power, and then organizations would use it for scientific research to do lots of calculations. And now it's a massive thing, and you can earn money doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's like it's kind of weird because like if you mine, you don't make as much money, so it's not really that worth it unless you have like a lot of computers.
Right, or you can get energy really cheaply. That's the big thing that I see is like people are looking at how cheap you can get the energy cost.
But now I'm kind of curious, how and why did you get into crypto and why you're so energized about crypto? Because like most people are like, NFTs, crypto, don't want to hear it, you know?
Right.
Because there's a lot of like scam artists like going around and, you know, and it has a lot of negative connotation to it. But right now it's like, it's still like, right now it's actually getting really profitable again because like the dollar is going down. So what is like, how did you get started in it and what is your take on crypto in general?
So I actually first heard about Bitcoin in 2014 when it was $10.
Damn.
And a few months later, I met Brian Armstrong, the founder of Coinbase.
Gotcha.
And he gave me 1 Bitcoin. He says that time was $10. He says, save it, just trust me. And when I went up to $220, I was so happy. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell.
Oh, no, you did sell?
I just sell.
Oh, how do you feel now when it's like 28,000 or 2,800?
28.
Yeah,
no, 28,000.
Yeah. So it is a big number.
So I've gone through many waves, and then it went up to. One day I woke up, so I sold 200 something. I just said, forget about it. I just slept on it. And next time I woke up from a dream, nightmare, whatever, I woke up. It was 4,000 something. I'm like, what? 4,000 something? Oh, it's too late.
That was, I think, the time where I heard about Bitcoin. It was like the server people were like talking about like, I should buy some Bitcoin.
Right.
It was like, they were like groups. They're like, you should buy Bitcoin. And it was like the pump and dump scheme kind of at the time. And I'm like, okay, if the servers are hearing about like buying Bitcoin, it is too late. That was my perception.
Yes, that's what I felt. So
but it was not. It was still went up.
So it 4,000 something and continued to go up, and then it came. So it went up to 6,000 something, and then I waited until it came back down to 4,000 something. I got a lot of not Bitcoin. I got Bitcoin, a lot of Ethereum, and a lot of Litecoin.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Litecoin at that time did not have a wallet. Did not have a official exchange. I got Litecoin when it was $2.
Yeah.
And then there was no place to park it. There was no Ledger Nano. There was no co-wallet. So I parked it in this exchange that would accept that you could park Litecoin.
Yeah.
And it was a rug pull. They ran away with all my money.
Yeah.
They ran away, went away with my 1,000 Litecoin.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. That hurt. So, I'm sitting here, and you're probably looking at the strongest woman in the world.
Well, here, this is like like lottery tickets that you kind of buy and you hope they will pay off. But it's like if you sell or buy at the wrong time, they're worth nothing. It's weird, So it's like,
or rug pull or scammed.
Yeah.
So so I lost all of my Litecoin.
Yeah.
And hurts me so much that I never went back to Litecoin ever. It just hurts.
Yeah.
And then I bought lots of Ethereum when it was $100.
Yeah.
And I invested them. I thought, $100 is already too high. So I invested 95% of them in ICOs. And 99% of ICOs were asked to cease and desist by the SEC.
Right.
So they went down to zero.
So those coin offerings you invested money in, they went down
to zero, And then
I gotta interrupt right now. So what is going on? So why would you buy more Bitcoin after you lose Bitcoin? So why you're so heavily invested in it? What made you believe in it? Because I'm like, you lose money. You're like, why would you spend now again money?
Because I still see even with all those scams out there, it's not. I know it's Bitcoin itself is not to be blamed.
Yeah.
Right.
Bitcoin is not the villain. It's the people that set up the scamming exchanges and projects, and they just give a white paper, and people raised 20 million. I know this guy personally that raised 20 million. 20 million worth of Bitcoin back then, so now it's probably worth 200 million. Yeah. So so just with white paper, and still I have faith in Bitcoin because Bitcoin is not available, and then it still continued to go up. So I went back in again when it was 8,000.
Gotcha.
And I held on to it. Put it in Celsius, and Celsius basically did a rug pull.
Yeah.
They filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, and you come from Silicon Valley too, so you're watching a lot of trends and tech stuff, and we're organizing lots of things in Silicon Valley.
Right.
And you can sort of see the writing on the walls with like, this is going to be big. But individual projects, sometimes the better they look, the more they're like,
Yeah.
It's just a con, and it sucks.
Yeah, but then some of the ICOs, initial coin offering, that's what it stands for.
Yeah.
They're real. They actually do have a team. They actually go pitch to investors, Silicon Valley venture capitalists, and raised money. Some didn't mean to do well, but then SEC just killed it. Say all ICOs are security tokens and it's illegal. So SEC basically killed it, and Gary Gensler is still trying to do
You
it.
got a real wallet though for yourself, like the wallet that you completely control.
Cold wallet, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You have a cold wallet?
Yeah, I have cold wallet.
How cold is it? Do you keep in the refrigerator?
But then Gary Gensler is still trying to everything he can do. Elizabeth Warren and bipartisan, they're trying to do everything to kill cryptocurrency because it's decentralized, and the Fed, the central bank, want to take control. If DeFi becomes the thing, then they cannot control us. So they're going to come out with CBDC. So that's central bank digital currency. So they don't care about fiat currency USD. So they don't care it's developing. They don't care countries are forming BRICS. They don't care that countries are boycotting USD because they wanted to see it dead.
Right.
And if banks are dead, right?
Not completely dead, but there's like a lot what is like very questionable. So here's why I believe in crypto, because like crypto is like, for most people, they don't understand it. And why would I, for example, the NFT thing, why would I pay money for a JPEG? And obviously, you know, that makes no sense. But here's the thing where I say it makes a lot of sense.
On Feet Finder, you pay a lot of money for JPEGs.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, if you pay for, like, let's say you sign a document and it's just a JPEG that I can Photoshop, then it's like, oh, you applied for a credit card. This could be Photoshopped. But with a blockchain, if you do formulas, government formulas where like real money is involved, you can verify that a person actually did it, and you can track the transaction. It would make it impossible for scammers basically to like, oh, I'm just applying for a credit card.
Right.
But if
smart contracts are even more interesting.
Yes, and so kind of but this is just the most basic thing that would change everything, because like scammers couldn't Photoshop, for example, a signature and like I'm applying for this credit card, whatever.
It's immutable record and private.
Exactly.
So JPEG, it's not just JPEG like the Bored Apes Club. I think that's what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
It's more like a club.
Right.
You have access to their exclusive special events.
And you can get exclusive discounts.
Right. Exclusive invited to exclusive events and meet Leonardo DiCaprio, meet Tom Brady, meet Gisele Bündchen if you want to marry her, a super model.
Of course.
That's how you meet them. Yeah. But the real life, I think the best case for NFT is real estate. Fractional investment.
Oh, for sure. Because that's the best investment you can get. And rent. Like, rent money doesn't go down in a recession. Like, rent stays consistent. So if you're a real estate investor or a landlord or anything like that, you're going to be doing good. But this is like,
if you can hold it.
Exactly.
That's also like the thing. Like, some people will lose
it's an asset
now, like their house or whatever. And it's like,
yeah, it's an asset of the upper class, and a lot more people are getting into that, and they're sort of breaking the barrier of like, oh, this is what the upper class, like bourgeoisie type asset that people buy. Yeah. They rent stuff out and they're landlords, and there's questions about ethics and stuff. But I think on the whole, things are getting better, and there's becoming more sort of, not necessarily regulation, but more ethics involved in doing that. And being able to invest in it, the bar is going down, especially with like fractional real estate. You can just buy.
Start for as little as $85. You can buy a piece of the real estate and it's liquid.
That is game changing. But
a REIT, a real estate investment trust, is one of the best investments you can get that is like long term, because it's like a grouping of over 100 houses, and you're basically making money on that property value, and as well as the rent rolls coming in, so it's consistent income. And the rule behind REITs is that you need to pay out 90% in dividends.
Gotcha.
They do that because that's actually a regulation. It's so profitable to take all that rent, reinvest it, and rebuy it to create companies like BlackRock and Blackstone that have these like massive holdings. And like Bank of America has a bunch of foreclosed houses that they won't give away for charity because it might mess with the market.
Yeah, so it's like you go to you go somewhere for Airbnb, right? You pay the rent, your money's gone.
Yeah.
But with fractional investment on blockchain, you own a piece of the real estate. So you go anywhere you want that have offers NFT.
Yeah.
You stay there. You actually own. You're staying at your own place, and it's liquid.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of finding an agent, real estate agent to sell it.
Yeah. Anyhow, on that note, thanks for watching the Create Before Consume podcast. Rate this podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you will find it. Hopefully soon on Facebook, because apparently I have to put it on Facebook. Yep. But I like Spotify videos, so check it out. Have a good one.